welcome back, Mzansi, to African Farming. Farmer Eric Mauwane calls challenges thorns. He has certainly faced his fair share of thorny patches, especially recently with the passing of his father. But where there are thorns, you're sure to find roses, and Eric's can-do and never give up attitude will no doubt ensure him and his children a rosy farming future. Welcome, experts. I'll start with Sylvester Lubambo from Lemang. How are you, Sylvester? Good to see you.
I'm well, and I'm glad to be back here again.
Lerato Mashiloane from John Deere. Good to see you again, lady.
Good to be back, Lindy. Looking very gorgeous today.
Why, thank you so much. Freddie Ndindana from Corteva. Welcome, Freddie.
Thanks, Lindy. I'm glad to be here.
And Matome Ramokgopa from Enza, Zaden.
Thanks, Lindy. Great to be here.
Now, Freddie, you've had a long journey with Eric. What are some of his challenges that you've seen along the way?
In summer, Eric faces pressure of weeds as well as certain insects that affect his crops. And when I talk of weeds, he has got more of broadleaf weeds as well as grasses. So for him, to have good control of those weeds, he was supposed to know good herbicides for use, either pre-emergent herbicide or post-emergent herbicide. So we worked on that by creating a very good spray program, which is helping him now to get, the crop with a good quality as well as yield. When it comes to insects, we also, worked on a spray program, especially for the control of sap-feeding insects in his peppers, a product that has got a broad spectrum, a product that controls whiteflies as an example, but also controlling aphids. So by doing that, it's helping as well. But also, it was important, and it's still important for Eric to exercise scouting, which is essentially monitoring for the presence of pests and diseases. So this is helping in a lot of ways. And also he's doing it by teaching his some of the laborers or the employees that he works with.
But now what about weather? How do farmers prepare for really bad weather? It can be cold weather, extreme cold weather, or extreme hot conditions.
Yes, Lindy, crops grow differently depending on weather conditions. So an understanding of the right crop to grow in summer, winter, spring or autumn is very important. And it comes also with the assistance from agronomists. So it's important to bear that in mind.
Now, Matome, Freddie raises an important point about the types of crops that you can pick depending on weather conditions and climate, etc. Now, maybe you can expand more on that.
Yeah, so firstly, we need to look at the kind of growing conditions. So whether open field or under protection, what we'd call greenhouse crops. And then next to that, we need to look at the kind of varieties that you are growing under those conditions. So you need to select the kind of variety which is suitable under the production conditions, but also factor your immediate surroundings, the growing conditions, under what type of growing conditions are you growing, whether greenhouse or open field, and the type of structures that you have. And based on that, then you can match the necessary kind of variety suitable for those conditions. And then with that, Freddie was talking, for example, around the issues of disease infestation, in this case viruses. So already in your variety selection processes, look for varieties that will already give you the upper hand. So with the necessary disease resistances, because already you've got genetics or variety backing you up, which already makes the process a lot easier, and you're starting on a positive note in that regard.
And timing is also just as important, right?
Certainly. Start with the end in mind, because ultimately you need to ask yourself, when do I want to be into market? So once you've defined when you want to be into market, then at least you can work it a step backwards as to how long is the variety going to take until it comes into production. And then next to that, then you can liaise with your local nursery in terms of how long the seedlings are going to take to be ready. That way you are able to maximize on your entire production cycle. So in the case of a summer crop, so that you come early enough in the season so that you can still have a full production season in that regard.
Now, Sylvester, even though Eric has faced challenge after challenge, we know that he is self-sufficient. But on a practical level, how can agribusiness add value to a farmer like Eric?
Eric has done well, has done very well until now. And I think it is time to bring in a strategic agribusiness partner that will assist him to also bring in tools and as well as management of how to manage in a difficult time. We know that he's been through a lot of challenges over the years. And one important thing when you bring in a partner like an agribusiness is that you bring in a company that will be able to sit down with an Eric and say, let us do an overall risk assessment of the business and offer solutions such as insurance products that will cover hail damage, that will cover the frost damage, fire, as well as theft. You see, so that will assist when it comes to the sustainability of the business and taking the business into the next level.
All right, now Eric is training his children to one day take over the farm. Now, what are your thoughts on succession planning?
Yeah, again, it talks to sustainability of the business. I'm very happy to see the children disinvolved in the business. Succession planning talks to the future leadership of the business. For instance, if there's a sudden need to change leadership, then you know that that's planned and that's in line. It's critical, especially for a medium-sized business like Eric's.
Now, Lerato, with the challenges that Eric has faced, in order for him to cope, he needs to start pushing volumes. Now, how does mechanization play a role?
So Lindy, Eric has an open field to work with at the moment, right? So farmers' windows, they're so tight and timing is incredibly important. So if as a farmer, you do not have strong enough equipment, it slows down the production and ultimately affects the entire process, from land prep, planting, harvesting, and ultimately the delivery to the end user. So as a farmer's needs change over time, I think it's very important that the mechanization needs are also revised. And that will, I think in this case, assist Eric greatly.
But now for a farmer such as Eric, who's gone through all these challenges, he may not necessarily have enough capital to buy a big tractor. Then what happens in that situation?
Lindy, we're not just interested in the sale, we're also interested in building a long-time partnership with farmers. So in any way we can, we will step in and assist in the interim up until such a time he's at a point where he's able to acquire his big tractor. We won't just, sideline him.
All right, before we wrap this up, let's get some closing remarks. Please, let's start with you, Matome.
I think work out a clear planning and a planting program.
Freddie?
Stay hungry for learning to advance your farm.
Lerato, what do you have for us?
Invest in new technology, yield better results.
Sylvester, what's your advice?
Good financial planning and tight budget control is essential.
Nice. Thank you, experts. As always, it's been such a pleasure to speak to each and every one of you. And to you, farmer Eric Mauwane, thank you for always seeing the light in the darkness. You give us hope to do the same. We wish you every farming success, and we can't wait to see Oneo Farms lush and green again. And to you at home, don't forget that you can engage with us on our social media platforms by using the hashtag African Farming. You can also visit our website, africanfarming.com. Mzansi, do remember, we farm better together.